Mr. Minnick here, helping students with String Comparison Worksheet 2, studying for the Computer Science A exam. But also, in general, this video is meant to help students learn how to use a Java editor, to test code that they have to perhaps write on a worksheet or on the AEP exam itself. And in this situation, when studying for the test, you can use a Java editor to test your thinking. On game day, you're not allowed to use the computer, but in practice, I encourage it. So here we go. This is just one of Mr. Minnick's worksheets, String Comparison Worksheet 2. There's another video that helps you with this worksheet, exercise 1, but it doesn't make use of Java. So in this worksheet, I'm going to use Java. So this worksheet is asking you to write two methods, smaller and alphabetize. Well, I'm going to do alphabetize first because the other video exists that helps you with number 1. And I'm copying and pasting the header of that method, copy, and I'm going to slide over to Java. Here at Why I'm Missing, currently in this school year at least, we're using this website called Replit, and there's a copy of my at C Minnick. Give me a shout. I have a lot of stuff there. Anyway, here at Replit, I can create an empty shell of like a Hello World type program, which I already did. I have to name the class main. That's just the rule. But because this method was on the worksheet, the method header, I'm going to paste it down below the main method. Every Java program needs a main method. It's like the law. It's the Java law. So that main method is separate from the method that's on the worksheet. The method on the worksheet needs a set of curly braces to enclose its body implementation. So this would just work. Sorry, but actually you need the word static here. In this situation, it wasn't on the worksheet. I don't want to get into it. It's not really covered on the AP exam why that has to be there. The important thing is that the name of the method is alphabetize. You notice that it returns a string and that it has one incoming explicit parameter named word, which is of the string data type. Those are the sort of preconditions. Sometimes we put preconditions up here as a comment. Word is a string of length 0 or greater. That's the kind of thing that you're often promised as an incoming guarantee when you have a method that you must implement and write. Then they give you a post condition, which in this case is the instructions on the worksheet itself. The post condition would simply be this chunk of instructions, and on the AP exam they always give you post conditions that you have to take 5 minutes to read. I'm going to simply put the post condition there in a block comment so that we have it handy right there in the code. Well, right now if I were to run this program in Replit, which shows you your console output screen over here to the right, I have an error because I'm missing a return statement. Well, true fact, on line 18, I am missing a return statement. Let's look into that. Oh, on line 18, somehow I'm getting out of that method without returning a string. So you must, just to get this code to compile, you must return a string. Well, let's just return like hello world, or anything in double quotes would suffice. Now when I run this project, this program, I am getting successful compilation. It is compiling. It is executing, in fact. But it's not doing anything meaningful. Nothing's printing out. Well, even though I did return hello world, the phrase hello world is not being system out printed. So we'll work on that. Well, one way to get it working better than it is right now is to actually call the alphabetize method that's down below. So this is an attempt to call this method. This static method can be called by typing alphabetize. Well, when I run it, I get an error message probably because right now I can't call alphabetize because I supplied no parameters to it. In other words, I didn't put a parameter in. Alphabetize, according to the directions on my worksheet, needs an incoming parameter. That must be a string. So I must feed it a string in the parentheses here. Now I don't have to say hello world all the time. I could say like hello mom. That would like satisfy the current error and get past the current error. Let's run it and see what happens. Yep, it's working again. It's working with this call statement. Now that would get you no points on the AP exam if this is all you put in the curly braces of this method on this worksheet. We got to actually do the stuff it's telling us to do. So let's go back and try to successfully write the code. Well, let's see here what we're supposed to do. We're guaranteed as a precondition that the string parameter is 2 unique lowercase words. So another guarantee there as a precondition is that word consists of 2 unique lowercase words separated by a single blank space. Wow, that's nice. That's nice that they said that. So for example, one possible value for word would be hello space world, because hello is different and therefore unique from the word world. It's all lowercase letters there, and I do have a single space. You see, it's your job to think of examples that satisfy a given precondition when interpreting technical writing like they give you as pre and post conditions. Some people aren't good at it. Some people just aren't good at word problems on PSSA Pennsylvania Keystone exams. When they give you word problems in life, it's often messy and you have to sort of pull out the important information. Now, what are we supposed to return here? Oh, we're supposed to return a string that contains the 2 words from the parameter, but in alphabetical order. So if hello world was the input, hello world should be the output that's returned, still separated by a single space. Now they give you the example zebra apple, which turns into apple zebra. But they also give you the example apple banana stays the same, apple banana. So hello world, because the H is alphabetically less than W, hello world ends up being returned. We call that sometimes a pass-through. Sometimes a method just passes through something unchanged. Anyway, not all the time here, but at least in one situation. Oh boy, how are we going to do this? Big question mark. Well, you always think, what API methods have we studied this school year that would be used in your answer? Well, because this involves strings, I would say substring, index of, length, perhaps the plus for concatenation. There's this compare to method, and there's an equals method that all work in the string class. If you don't know about the existence of those methods, read my lecture notes, your textbook, find the AP Quick Reference cheat sheet. All of those would be helpful. Don't just go search Google and perhaps end up at some website like Stack Overflow. You're probably finding like other fancy professional ways to do it in Java, or an older version of Java that might not work in the current version. It's going to be messy. Now, you should be armed with the stuff that's in the AP Computer Science A curriculum. Well, in this case, knowing that you've already done the first exercise on the worksheet, you would already have available to you in this method called smaller. Many times on the AP exam, they allow you to use a method that you previously wrote on the exam. So take advantage of that if allowed. Well, right now, I have to first write some pseudocode, basically like the rough draft of an essay for history class. So I'm going to write some steps. It's kind of like the second step of the programming process if you ever took a Why I'm Missing computer science course. I first must break up Word into two smaller strings. And to do that, I must find the space that they were guaranteeing that there would be, and then I have to make a substring out of the characters, or the letters, I guess, if you know it spells a word, the letters that preceded the space, and I have to make another substring out of the letters that were after the space. That's called parsing, by the way. And then I must compare the two substrings alphabetically, and then only if the first is greater than the second one, I must rearrange them. I must concatenate them the other way around. Finally, and a lot of students forget this when writing AP exam questions like this, I must return the new string. Don't forget to do that. They take a point off if you don't actually return what you were supposed to return. Okay, well, this is going to be hard. I'm going to think this out as if I were, say, a 10th grader at Why I'm Missing. How to break up two smaller strings. Well, I need some variables. Local variables must be properly declared. So I'm going to just call these two variables like first part and then first word. And because this is the AP exam and I'm not grading you on style, and the second word that can be declared all on the same line of code. And the first word is equal to, oh, I have to first have a find that space. I have to find the space. Well, there is no find method in Java, at least not for the AP exam, but there's index of. So maybe I need another variable for position of blank space. Now I initialize it to -1. If I made it 0, that means that the space could actually be the first position of the string. So I make it -1. It's just a good idea. I initialize it to that. But now I set position of blank space to be the original parameter word dot index of space. Now we've done exercises like this on previous worksheets. By taking word, which in this case is some unknown phrase like apple zebra, please do not declare word to be a local variable and set it equal to something like apple banana. That is so wrong, but so often done by students. Word is already in existence. You don't declare it and set it equal to some hardwired value. Absolutely not. No, don't do that. You see, word is coming from up here. It's going to be hello mom in the current test case. Well, I'm going to change it to zebra apple right now, just so that it's consistent with one of the possible test cases. So word, you can assume, is right now equal to zebra apple, and just assume that word here is really zebra apple. That space is in position 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That space is in position 5. So just saying, as a sample value, the variable position of blank space will be equal to the value 5. They don't make you use good variable names on the AP exam. You could just have the letter P or POS, but I'm being descriptive just because I want people to understand this, the logic and the algorithm here. Okay, so right now we know the position of the blank space. Now we use our friendly substring method, and we know that first word can be indeed set equal to whatever the original word was, dot substring 0, comma, position of blank space. Because the way substring works in this case with 2 parameters, we start at 0 and go up to, but not including position of blank space, which is 5. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, but not including that space. Perfect. That ends up being zebra in this hardwired hypothetical example. That's first word. First word is what we need. We just parsed the whole word, the whole phrase. Second word, this could have been a previous worksheet question. I just know that my style of worksheet questioning. I could just put in position of blank space +1 to get apple stored in the variable second word. Because position of blank space is 5. 5 plus 1 is 6, and that is that letter that's after the space. If you put position of blank space, you'd be including apple in, you'd be including the space in with second word, which is not what you want here. Just trust me, they take a point off on the AP exam, plus you'd look bad on your job if you did this on your job. Or get fired. Who knows what they do to you for getting something wrong. As a teacher, I don't have to worry about making a mistake in my Java code and probably not losing my job. But then I don't make as much as Google developers, money-wise. Happiness-wise, it's equivalent. Okay, so now I've got the 2 things. Maybe I system out print this to test it as I go. That I always encourage. Let's just system out first. And I'm going to hardwire a space in there just so that we can see if we've got what we're looking for here. So I'm system out printing it, but I'm still returning hello world because that's just like what I call a stub. It's just there to make everybody happy. I'm going to run this. Come on, zebra apple. Zebra apple, perfect. Zebra apple is unchanged, but at least I'm going to put a star in there. I don't like that space. That's confusing. So that star is kind of proving that I've got the zebra part stored in first word and the apple part stored in second word. That's just temporarily put there to just kind of show. And sometimes I even put another symbol, perhaps Richie Rich, $. It's a comic book from like 1970s. And then it's a movie that Seamus once watched in like elementary school or something. Then I put like an asterisk there because asterisks are cool. No, an @ symbol because you know what? @ symbols are cool as Twitter handles. So now when I run this, I know that I don't have a leading or trailing space in front of one of my words. It was very possible to have an extra space if you didn't know to do the +1 there. Now on the AP exam, you can't play like this. You got to know your stuff well enough to test the code in your brain or on your scratch paper. Now, if they're in the wrong order, if first word is greater than, oh, you can't use the greater than, I'm so sorry. You could probably in Python or some other cheesy good language, but in Java, a hard language that they use in industry, you got to use the compare to method. That's the whole point of chapter 3 in my unit of study. And you got to check, like we saw in a previous video, if that's greater than or less than 0, then you have to actually do some thinking. So if first word is less than second word, we know that this is going to be true, which means we want to just return it as is. So we return the whole word. Don't return first word. That's partial credit, but so wrong. That would just be returning the word apple if it were the case. No, we want to return the whole word unchanged. If this expression is false, we would then want to return, which means we could do else, but we know that we got this far if we didn't hit a true on the if. So I'm just going to return word rearranged here. But rearranged just means that I want second word first, then concatenated to a space, then concatenated to first word. Remember, we extracted the space already, but we got to pad that space back in according to the directions of what we need to return. So I just know I'm going fast because the bell's about to ring. I know it would take a lot longer to do this if you were at home all alone. I'm going to comment out temporarily my stub and hope that this works for all situations. Okay, come on, run correctly. Come on, please be Apple Zebra. Oh, I still have that system out print. I'm going to just temporarily comment it out in case I need to bring it back for testing purposes. Come on, please, system out print. Oh, it's not system out printing anything until I put a system out print here. The bell's about to ring, so I am quickly system out printing this. Whatever's returned by alphabetized Apple Zebra is now going to be system out printed in this tester. Come on. Yeah, it worked. But we don't know if it works for all cases. So I'm going to put Apple Zebra and see if it returns that unchanged. It so works. I think, I'm not sure. Good luck testing this more thoroughly over the weekend so that you can put this answer on worksheet number 2. Have a great day.
What is an Apple Zebra?